Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. The hype is so real, my friend. In this week's video, I'd like to have a conversation with you about the one thing that the prequel to Breath of the Wild must focus on in order for it to succeed. Are you ready? Hello and welcome, my friend. I hope you're having an amazing day so far. I'm Derek with Zelda Theory, and if this is your first time seeing my content, my channel focuses heavily on the Legend of Zelda series. Nothing really else matters on this channel. Videos will consist of Breath of the Wild 2 theories, Zelda lore, 100% walkthroughs, as well as Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity videos, just like the one you just clicked on. So if you haven't already, consider subscribing and hitting the bell notification for brand new Zelda content every single week. I hope you find massive value here today. Now, there's not much we know about Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity other than the release date and that Nintendo is letting us in on more information on the 26th of this month. I don't mean to sound like I'm downplaying this. I mean, having this information already is huge for Nintendo, especially since that's not something they normally do. But other than this, all we know is that the Age of Calamity is pretty much like the original, you know, the whole hack and slash thing, and taking out huge amounts of enemies at once, but sort of linked to Breath of the Wild. Even going so far to say that Age of Calamity is the prequel to Breath of the Wild, and it is. In today's video, I really would like to focus on the story of the game. I believe that there are three main reasons why the story to Age of Calamity is so vitally important, and just how crucial it is that Nintendo gets this right. Let's talk about it. So the first thing is that focusing on the story in Age of Calamity will help connect Age of Calamity to Breath of the Wild. Now, I know what you're thinking. Duh, obviously, right? And to your point, it is pretty obvious that Nintendo needs to make this connection work in a certain way in order for Age of Calamity to succeed. I don't know why I keep taking off Hyrule Warriors. I think maybe because it sounds better to me. Henceforth, the game will be known as the Age of Calamity. This is extremely important, especially now that Nintendo has confirmed that Age of Calamity is the prequel to the events that happened in Breath of the Wild. Age of Calamity cannot be like the first Hyrule Warriors. It's not like they can just throw 100 playable characters in there and have this game succeed. It has to be specific. It has to have the right characters, specifically Rivali, Urbosa, Daruk, Mipha, Link, and of course Zelda as a primary focus. From what you and I have seen in the trailer though, it's highly likely that this is just what Nintendo has had in mind the whole time. Focusing on the story of Age of Calamity will help connect the series as a trilogy. I think something that's really cool about Age of Calamity is that this game will make the Hero of the Wild a trilogy. Of course, this game would be the prequel, then Breath of the Wild itself, and eventually the long-awaited sequel to the games, Breath of the Wild 2 or whatever they decide to finally call the game. Having a story that is linked through 3 different games is something that Nintendo has really only done one time in the franchise. The Hero of Winds, for example, had 3 games as well, those being the Wind Waker, Phantom Hourglass, and Spirit Tracks. But of course you already knew that. I could even go so far as to say that those games really didn't count considering only one of them was on a console. I know you probably won't agree with me on this, but I digress. Imagine this. Can you imagine just sitting down in the future when all of these games are finally released and then playing them in chronological order? I think this is one of the main reasons why I love the Hero of Time. Ocarina of Time is the prequel to one of the best games in the series, Majora's Mask. I absolutely love how it is the same Link that we get to play as in these games. We get to see the perspective of young Link as well as adult Link and everything he went through. I was actually hoping to get another Zelda game for the Hero of Time to try and help explain what happens to the Hero of Time after the events of Majora's Mask. Still to this day, it's pretty confusing. What are your thoughts here? I think this is really exciting, and that if the story has a huge focus in the Age of Calamity, great things are going to happen for this game. Focusing on the story in Age of Calamity could reveal potential Easter eggs and foreshadow on what's to come in Breath of the Wild 2. As stated before at the beginning of this video, there really isn't much we know yet about the game. Based on what we know, there could be so many hidden Easter eggs, or things that will make more sense when the sequel to Breath of the Wild finally releases. Or even, for that matter, things that happened in the original Breath of the Wild. An example here could be the little egg guardian that we see in the announcement trailer for the game. Maybe this guardian was the original guardian. Maybe this guardian, if it even was a guardian or is a guardian, was meant to be Link's divine beast. but was then corrupted by Calamity Ganon to a point where Link could no longer use the beast. There's just so many possible outcomes. In order for Age of Calamity to succeed, I stand by the fact that this game needs to focus more on the story than the original Hyrule Warriors, and not just throw crazy amounts of enemies at the champions for 40+ hours of gameplay. So I hope you truly found value in our conversation here today. If you enjoyed this video, check out the other Zelda videos that I've created on the channel. They'll be popping up on the screen here in a minute. I'm sure you'll enjoy them as well. Again, I can't thank you enough for your continued support here. If you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe, turn on all notifications, continue to be the light, and remember, it's dangerous to go alone. Let's talk soon.